afternoon or evening whenever you're actually watching this. It's currently morning for myself, so good morning. This is gonna be an ordinary day in the life video of me working my job and also training for an Ironman at the same time. But it's honestly gonna be a video about one specific topic, and that one specific topic is something that I've neglected a lot. So I decided to make this video to hold myself accountable, because I believe in order to take a couple steps forward, sometimes you have to take a step backwards, and that's what this video is gonna be about. So let's get into that. So I always see these videos where they make fun of, say, entrepreneurs, where they say they wake up at 2:30 and then they go for a 45-minute run, and then at 2:45 they come back, they do their meditation, their grounding, and then at 3 o'clock they do their stretching for an hour, and then at 3:15, where they're just making fun of them because they have these really elaborate morning routines. And I feel like I have somewhat of that elaborate routine where every single morning I wake up, I don't set an alarm, I wake up sometime between 4 and 5 right now. I'm trying to prioritize sleep a lot more. And right now I wake up between 4 and 5. I woke up this morning around 4. What I like to do in the morning, first thing I do is stretch. I get about 20 to 30 minutes of stretching in, and I'm currently in a men's mastermind group, and we have these challenges throughout the month. So currently this month we have meditate for 5 minutes and take a cold shower. So after my stretching, I do a 5-minute meditation, just kind of to try and clear my mind. My mind's always racing. So after that, I usually hop on the computer, start to get a little bit of work in, just because with the Ironman training, I do a lot of the Ironman training throughout the day so I can go outside, because right now it's a little bit chilly outside. I don't really want to be running outside at 4:35 in the morning. So I like to get a little bit of work in, and then it gives me the freedom to be able to take some time throughout the day to be able to go outside and train a little bit. So right now it's just after 5 o'clock. I'm gonna get a little bit of work in, and then I'll take you along a little bit later on, and I'll discuss exactly what this topic of the video is, because it's something that I neglected a lot, and I think it does have something to do with urgency and being in Tucson, but I'll get into that a little bit later. If you have seen my caffeine video where I quit coffee or caffeine for a year, I am back consuming the good old juice, and a lot of it. I listened to a Huberman podcast, and if Huberman says it's fine, I'm gonna drink it. He does the research for me, so I'm back consuming caffeine. I do try to limit it and make sure I don't drink it too late in the day. Like I'll try and stop at about noon. I won't have anything after noon sometimes, but I am back consuming caffeine, and too much of it. All right, starting our day off here with a nice protein-packed breakfast. We got 5 eggs, a couple sausages, and then I also got creatine. I wouldn't say I like to do it, but I just prefer to do a dry scoop of creatine just to get it down nice, quick, and easy, because I don't mix it with anything. When I would mix it with something that's flavored, it's a little bit different, but when it's just water and creatine, then you got a whole bunch of, I don't know, you can call it crystals just in there, and then debris or whatever you want to call it. I just find it's a lot easier to dry scoop it. But the main thing that I want to talk about is rest and recovery. And this is one thing that I really neglect, and I need to start prioritizing a little bit more. So what I've realized since I've come to Tucson is my goal was to do 2-a-days every single day. And I think it plays a little bit into the urgency, because I know I'm only here for 3 months, so I want to get the most out of it. But I've realized in order to take a step forward, you might have to take a step back. And that step backwards is rest and recovery. And this became more apparent after I did my marathon donut challenge, because that day I ended up pushing myself and my legs got really sore, and I feel like I might have injured myself a little bit. It wasn't anything serious, but what ended up happening is I realized my future workouts ended up hindering because I went out a little bit too hard. My legs were sore, my muscles were sore. So the coming workouts in the next days, I wasn't able to go out as hard as I would like to because my legs were sore, and like I said, I had a little bit of an injury there. So what I realized is that if I want to have better and higher intensity workouts, I'm gonna have to give myself more time to rest and recover, because right now doing 2 days, my legs are working every single day. So whether that's a bike or that's a run, and a lot of the times I'm doing both of them on the exact same day. So there's never really a span of time that my legs are getting to recover and rest up, so I'm able to have better and higher intensity workouts. So that's the purpose of making this video, is for me to take a day off, have a recovery day, because rest and recovery is a key to being able to move forward so you can have better and higher intensity workouts. So even though it is a rest and recovery day, I am sedentary a lot for my job, and I'm just sitting on the desk a lot. So I'm gonna be going out for a short walk. And I think it also has something to do with the standards that I've built up for myself, because I'm training nonstop, and I used to build up another standard of constantly working out at the gym. And I've thought about this is, what happens if I stop training for an Ironman? What am I gonna wanna do? Because I have these standards of wanting to train all the time. It's like, am I gonna not train all the time? Or I just feel like I'm gonna be too bored and not feel like I'm doing anything and pushing myself. So I feel like I have these standards where I need to be doing something and I have to go out and exercise. So I'm gonna be going on a short little walk here. I know it's a rest and recovery day. This is my rest and recovery of a walk and not a run or a bike. So I'm gonna be heading out now and just going on a 45-minute stroll and getting a little fresh air and move my legs a little bit. All right, I just got back from my walk, and there's a few different reasons as to why I actually did want to have a recovery day, or this thought's been crossing through my mind. One of it, like I said earlier, doing the donut marathon, getting a little hurt, and then the days following not being able to train up to the standards that I would want to be training to. The second one is I was talking with a buddy that I met here, and he was talking about how you progressively overload and with the amount of hours that you're working, and then you take a week off where you tone it back a little bit to recover, and then you continue building up, and then you go back, and then you continue, which makes sense. And then I've been hearing from other people that I should probably take rest and recovery days. But the last one is I downloaded this Athlytic, I think that's how you pronounce it, that's how I'm gonna go with, Athlytic app, where it tracks your recovery and how you're recovering daily. And I'm not sure how accurate it is, because a lot of the times the heart rate seems a little off in my opinion, but maybe it is accurate. And according to the recovery on the app, I haven't been recovering very well. Like the past few days here, we got 24%, 52%, 62%, 64%. So I'm trying to take an easier day to see if my recovery does actually improve, and if it can improve from there, say maybe go 70, 80, even 90% high, to see if I do have a good recovery, and then if I'm able to come back on the future days and be able to go at a harder, higher intensity pace for, say, running or biking, and I might not be feeling as sore in my legs, so I'm able to go at that higher intensity. So we'll see how that goes. And then also it has the target exertion scale that you're able to look at. And a lot of the times my recovery isn't good, and then that dictates the amount of exertion that you're allowed to have, or your target exertion. And a lot of the times, because my recovery is not good, I go above my target exertion. So I'm gonna most likely be under my exertion today. We'll see how that goes. And this is just a few of the reasons as to why I actually wanted to have a rest recovery day, but I've been neglecting it quite a bit. But that's why. And now I'm gonna be getting back to work here and work for a few more hours. And then I got another thing that I'm gonna be doing that maybe shouldn't be doing on a rest recovery day, but we'll be doing it soon anyways. So if you've been around for a little bit, you might know that I've had some stomach issues, some stomach pain. And at first I thought it was the sardines because I just added that to the diet, and then I took it out and then the pain went away, but that was just a coincidence. And I was on a bike ride and it started hurting again. So I thought it was the bike ride, did some research, and I think it might be the fiber because I was having way too much fiber. I was having maybe 60 to 70 plus grams a day. And then I started looking into it, and then it basically said if you have over 70 grams, that's probably too much. So then I had to do some research to try and find some quote unquote healthy foods to add into my diet that don't have fiber, just because it's way too high. And what I stumbled upon was pancakes. So I'm having some pancakes right now. I think it's the fiber. I have not really confirmed yet, but having 60 to 70 grams per day, I think was doing it. I'm on about day 3-ish of trying to lower my fiber intake, still getting a little bit of pain. So I haven't narrowed it down exactly, but I think it is the fiber if you do have any insights on this. But gonna be making some pancakes right now for a little snack to get some calories in from somewhat healthy foods that don't have fiber in it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, we got ourselves lunch here. We got sweet potatoes, broccoli, and this grass-fed beef cut up in slices that I found at Costco. I thought I would try it out. I saw it on a video. Trying something new out. It's all right. It's definitely not the price to value. It costs a lot more, and I think I only got 4 servings out of it, so won't be getting this in the future. It's not too bad, but gonna eat lunch, got a couple meetings, and then gonna be going out. So I'm headed to the pool right now, and I know I said this is a rest recovery day, but the way I'm looking at it, it's more of a rest recovery day for my legs, because I'm basically doing at least one exercise per day that involves my legs, whether that's running or biking, and some of the times it's both of them on the same day. So I've never really actually given myself a day off from my legs, whereas swimming it works different muscles, your upper body, and I'm typically doing about 4 to 5 times per week, maybe 6. So I'm giving myself about 1 to 3 days off per week for swimming, whereas running and biking, I'm working my legs every single day. So this rest recovery day is more so tailored towards just my legs as opposed to everything else. But this is going to be an easy swim and nothing too crazy here. It's just basically going to be a nice easy 45-minute swim where I'll get about 2,000 to 2,500 yards in, and then I'll head out. So nothing too crazy. Probably working a few drills, but other than that, it's going to be fairly straightforward and fairly easy swim here on this rest recovery day that I got going on. Alright, I just wrapped up my swim here. I was a little tight at the start, but then the more I kept going, the looser I got. And I just figured out that you can pause your workout on an Apple Watch. So if you don't know this, you might have to set it, but you can hit these 2 buttons at the same time and it'll pause the workout. So I did that for the first time, and I'm not sure if I forgot to hit resume a couple times while I was flying the drone while I was swimming, and it continually added on to the yardage, but it didn't count the time because my pace was seeming a little fast. So I was a little confused when I was doing that. But I just wrapped up 2,600 yards. It was just a basic swim. I just did laps the entire time, and then I was like 15 seconds below 45 minutes, and I was just gonna sit there and be like, I'll just wait till 45. But I'm like, I'm not gonna be a lazy bitch. I'm gonna go. So I ended up doing 50 hard to finish out. But other than that, it was just there back swimming, pretty standard swim, just a bunch of laps, nothing too crazy. I didn't end up doing drills or anything like that. But yeah, my pace got up to about 140 per 100 yard, and that's a little fast for me if I'm just doing laps. So that's why I was a little bit confused, and it was like well before 45 minutes, and I was at like close to 2,000 yards, and I was like, this seems a little fast. But wrapped up 2,600 yards now left on the day, just basically working and eating, and we'll bring you along for that because there's a lot of fun in there. So we'll just continue on with our day in the life here. So just going to be wrapping up my last few tasks, I guess you could call them, on the day. I mentioned in a previous video, now that I'm in Tucson, I'm primarily focusing on run, bike, swim, and I'm not going to the gym anymore. So to combat that, I like to do 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 leg raises, and 10 handstand push-ups. And I typically like to break them up into 2 and 2. So I'll do 2 after my first workout and 2 after my second workout. But since I didn't have an earlier workout today, doing all 4 right now. And then after that, I have a cold shower, and that's also part of the men's mastermind group. That's part of the that's physical. That's part of the physical challenge that we're doing on the month. So it's just 30 seconds of cold exposure. Usually one of my showers is cold, but this one's a longer one because I gotta wash my hair after to get all the chlorine out. So I'll usually do a couple minutes towards the end of the shower. So gonna be doing those exercises plus the cold shower, and then dinner time's gonna be pretty soon, and also gotta work a little bit more. So we'll hop right into all that stuff. All right, finishing up our day here for food. This is dinner. We got chicken breast, mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, and quinoa. And today I actually did pretty good in terms of fiber. Recently I've been getting up to like 50, 60, and close to 70 grams of fiber. And today I actually did pretty good, and it's probably because I burned maybe 600 plus less calories than I usually do. So that's a big difference, and if I had to make up that in calories, there's obviously gonna be a lot more fiber in. I think I finished with around 40 grams of fiber, so I mean, still quite a bit, but not as much as I am usually consuming. So that's good that I didn't have a lot of fiber on the day, and I'm just trying to monitor my stomach and see where the pain is coming from. Maybe it's the sugar, because I know for a while I was doing low carb, and on low carb you're gonna have a lot less sugars, and right now I'm having quite a bit of sugars with fruits, and I don't really know what else. My carb mix, you can't see it probably, actually you can, right up there. Carb mix, so it's got a bit of sugar in there. So I'm having like over 100 grams of sugar on the day, which I'm honestly not used to. So I mean, hopefully it's the fiber. I'm on the 3rd time of trying to figure out what it is. Maybe the 4th time we'll figure it out, and maybe it is the sugar, or maybe it's just something that I have internally wrong with myself. But gonna be finishing up dinner here, get a little bit of work in after that, and we'll wrap up the day from there. All right, so this has been a day in my life, basically a rest recovery day. I've never done, I can't remember the last time I've done one of these, and in a sense, might not have been exactly a rest recovery day, just a light day. And I've already stretched today. Maybe I'll stretch for a few more minutes before I head to bed, but I got a few more hours of work, and I know there's probably gonna be people saying, oh, you need a rest, you need a recovery. People have been telling me, you gotta rest, you gotta recover. And I'll add a quick thing at the end of my Athlytic to see if the recovery is actually improved from what it's been in the past. So I'll add that at the end here, just in case, to see if that actually does improve. But I like to bring up the example of Michael Phelps, because I'm pretty sure he went about 5 years without taking any days off. And for me, it's like, why can he do that? But you should be taking rest recovery days just because all these other people do it. That's what everyone says, that's what everyone does. And I just think when you push your body through those days when it's sore, it's gonna be able to recover on its own while under pressure, while stressed out. But I get the point in rest and recovery, because you have to have these rest and recovery days to have higher intensity and better workouts to move forward, to progress that needle moving forward. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it, is take one step backwards to take two steps forward, because I might be treading in place because my legs are maybe a little bit toast and they haven't had that day off to be able to recover, so I can go at a higher intensity, have a better workout. So that's the way I'm looking at it. And I'm probably not gonna have another rest or recovery day for the rest of the time while I'm here, just because I think there's a lot of urgency that I have here, because I know I'm only here for 3 months. So it's like, I wanna get the most out of it. And in my mind, in order to get the most out of it, I have to put in the work every single day, and I can't take any days off. And I think that's one thing that people lack, is that urgency to get going, you know? Where if you sign up for something, you're gonna be forced to actually have that urgency to actually grind and push yourself. Because I know for me, before I actually signed up for a marathon, I was just kind of running, taking it easy, didn't have anything to strive for. But once I signed up for that marathon, all of a sudden I had a goal I had to strive for and I had to achieve. And once I signed up for it, I started following a plan, and then I started getting more strict. I started getting more regimented. So I think that's the good thing about having urgency. And right now I have a lot of an urgency while in Tucson to get the most out of it. And for me, that's doing 2 a days minimum. And for me, I don't think I will have another rest recovery day. We'll see, maybe I will. If I do, I will try and document it and do another rest recovery day, maybe just for the legs, and I will have a nice light swim in it as well. But this has been a day in my life, and one thing that I have neglected a lot, which is rest and recovery. I do rest, I get sleep, I stretch, and I eat well, and that's my rest. That's my rest. And then my body gets to take as many hours in between workouts, and that's the rest that it gets. And it doesn't get any more than that. That's the way I look at it. But hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna be working I got a couple more hours before bed, so gonna get a few more hours of work in, and then back at it again tomorrow. We got a nice swim class, which is always good, getting up around 5,000 yards. So we're gonna be doing that tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.